And now for something completely different.
Forget everything you've been told by others before. Get ready for the real deal. The full story. Real talk about money, markets, life. Now, it's The Real Investment Show, presented by RIA Advisors.
And good morning. Welcome to our financial fitness podcast. I'm Rich Rosso, CFP, with Jonathan McCarty, CFP, NSSA, ICUP.
Good morning, Rich.
So many credentials.
I've got room for more.
You got. He's collecting them like Beanie Babies. That's what Lance will say. Another certification, huh? You really need that one, don't you?
Here's the thing about knowledge, Rich. They can't take it away from you.
I'm going to use that on him.
Yeah, you're
next
welcome.
time. Yeah. I'm not going to have my like his knowledge of how to get coffee stains out of a carpet suck. So
I noticed that in the hallway.
He runs into me, little barrels into me like I don't exist. He just finally got my name right. He used to call me Russ for like this last 2 years. He finally got my name right. And
at least he talks to you.
Barely. So he knocks over the coffee. He goes, Dawn will do it. Dawn dishwashing liquid is going to get this stain out.
That's the trick?
It got bigger.
Yeah.
I said, it only works on ducks.
Yeah.
You ever see the commercial? It gets oil out of ducks. That's all it does.
You know what I found hilarious? It gets oil off of ducks, but can't get the grease out of a spaghetti container.
That's it does. It can't.
What is that, guys? Come on.
If I had a pet duck, I would get Dawn.
Of course. It's a necessity.
Well, I think we created like a Rorschach, like a duck. It looks like a duck now, or a gopher. It used to be
Tell
a
me
spot.
what you
Now it
see
is.
here.
It's morphed into. Oh my goodness!
I think Rich had a traumatic incident with ducks at the park in New York.
Lance and housework. Oh, mix. My goodness. I can tell you. Well, listen, we're going to talk to you a little bit about, obviously it's holiday time. A lot of things happen during holiday time. People get crazy. People reminisce. And also it's about time for my favorite movie, Christmas Carol. Well, It's a Wonderful Life is one of my favorites. How about you, Brent? You like that one? Yeah. That's a great story. And I know they tried to remake it. Please don't do that.
Nope.
Please don't do that.
Must be viewed in black and white for full effect.
Very, very much so. Very much so. There is that town in New York, gosh, I can't remember the name, that has taken over as the town. Like, in other words, it replicated itself upstate New York. Mm-hmm. It is the town from It's a Wonderful Life. Mm-hmm. And you go there. The last person alive, the Zuzu Petals, the little daughter, she used to go there every year, but it looks just like that when the snow comes down. So what people don't realize in that movie, like you got the scene where Jonathan's looking at me like a deer in the headlights.
No,
like a duck in the
A Christmas Story
dishwashing liquid.
is a tradition in our house, a Christmas Story.
Well, It's a Wonderful Life. You've heard
I've heard of that one, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a great film. It's a great story, actually. It's like, the guy wants to kill himself.
That's one of those silent films, right?
Yeah. It is. Yeah.
Just kidding, guys. Come on.
You couldn't find the mute button, huh?
Yeah.
So he's going to kill himself because he's worth more dead than alive. Mm-hmm. And frankly, for a lot of people, that movie would work out terribly wrong because life would probably be better if they weren't here. But for him, it was like how terrible everybody's life was. So he realizes the value he's never realized he has brought to others. Yeah. It's just a really heartwarming kind of
feel-good holiday story.
It is a very good holiday story.
Bedford Falls.
And that's actually Bedford Falls, I think, New York.
Yeah.
That has the town that looks just like that.
Okay. Third place movie, All I Want for Christmas.
All I Want for Christmas.
Yeah. The two little kids get the divorced parents back together.
Oh, okay. I thought that was
I don't think I've seen that one.
I thought that was some sort of strange flick on Times Square.
No.
Okay.
I thought you were going to say Better Off Dead.
No.
It's another great one.
Yeah.
That is a great one. $2!
I want my $2.
You should watch that, but it's this paper boy, and it steals the whole movie. The movie pretty much sucks, except for this paper boy who is chasing John Cusack around for his $2.
Ah.
Yeah, so
It's rough being a paper boy. I can attest.
it is. It's tough to collect as a paper boy. That was a tough one. So money distress does rise itself during this time of year. And these poor decisions of the past can sneak up on you. So I thought about the Christmas Carol when I sort of wrote this. So we want to tackle these financial ghosts for the new year. It's a good time to really look at that. So we're going to look at these strategies to tackle them. Try to reduce money stress, although I know if you're listening to this podcast, you probably don't have a lot of money stress. But you want always, any of us can always look at building a healthier long-term financial foundation. So I'm going to share with you some of the ratios that I use, which absolutely show you I have no life when it comes to how these ratios look like. So, and I understand there's always these resolutions at the beginning of the new year that, we're going to get our finances in order and all that. But I think you really want to start looking at, hey, what are the ghosts of my financial mistakes past, my precious? And sometimes they're not kind. They're not warm and fuzzy. These are poor spending habits, and they urge you to keep spending money impulsively. And when do we do that? We definitely do that around holiday time. I understand there's like this K-shaped economy, and a good part of the population doesn't want to buy anything, but it sure doesn't look like when you look at credit cards, when you look at Visa and MasterCard's earnings and Amazon and Walmart, and I understand it's food and all that, but there are people that are still spending money regardless of how much money they make.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Cyber Monday turned into Cyber Week.
It did.
So
yeah, it really did. So these rattling chains is what they are. They stick around, but around holiday time, they become particularly acute because maybe you want money to spend and you can't. We used to have something, that's just going to bring up the good old days for Jonathan. We used to have Christmas clubs where you would, I believe, go to the bank and open an account, and they would allow you to stash money in there all year.
Really?
Yeah, as a discipline. And that was a big thing. They remember the banks would promote that because it got to be, hey, you were a new customer, right?
Yeah.
Like maybe you closed the Christmas club, but this whole thing was like you can start putting away $10 a month or whatever you wanted to. But this account was totally earmarked for your spending. It's almost like you need to do that in your household. Like put the budget together. I always keep track of how much I've spent and how much my spending has increased. This year it's criminal. I totally went overboard, but at least I know my baseline and I know what I did. Mm-hmm. And I could do it. So you have to be aware of what your budget is for the holidays.
Yep.
And what you want to spend it on. So listen, I always thought like post-pandemic, when what was the savings rate when people were stuck at home? Like 30%? Like I was like, oh my gosh, people finally learned.
They started listening to you, Rich.
I was like, oh my God, it's going to have such a lasting impact on household finances. We're going to see people save more because they went through a terrible time. Nope. That did not. So December is the month to objectively review your financial history. So this month really exposes good and bad your habits. Like too much eggnog.
Not enough eggnog.
Not enough eggnog. I'm lactose intolerant. Everybody knows I have a problem with eggnog. We know that this is a good time of year for you to go through this. And listen, I have my own ghosts of financial mistakes. I assess my progress. I review my financial history. I place close attention to the risks I took and have I repeated some financial mistakes. All of us are human. We all do it. I will tell you, everybody here, for the most part, walk the talk. And what I mean by that is, years ago, when I first started in this business, you had to, I think I told you the story, but I had like a Dodge Stratus, and I drive into the JT Moran parking lot and see all these Mercedes and all that. And I realized nobody owned these cars. Mm-hmm. I was the only one in this whole lot that actually owned the car, right? Because they said, no, you got to get into debt. You have to go out and buy the big house now. You have to do all these things to create pressure to make you perform better. And I think that's really a bunch of crap.
Well, it's also a lifestyle creep.
Yeah, but all at once. It was like an adrenaline shot. Like the day I got the job, I didn't even get on the phone yet. And they're like, this weekend, Ferrari shopping. I'm like, how do I get all this stuff? I don't have any money. I barely. I have like $3,000 in my checking account. How am I? Don't worry about it. It'll happen. You visualize it. You go in there. You buy the 4,000 square foot home. Get into debt. You'll be sitting here all day. I'm like, oh gosh, this sounds great. This sounds amazing. So but again, even as a financial professional, right, Jonathan, we all make mistakes. Growing up and through our we all have, we have taken our money scripts. We sort of know where our weaknesses are. But I do try to be more fiscally aware. So as you prepare your favorite recipes in the family for decades, watch a nice film, White Christmas. I like that one. Sisters. Brent does a White Christmas. Danny Kaye, man. Bing Crosby. Come on. One of the best musicals out there.
Rich, if you start breaking into show tunes, I'm headed home.
Yeah. In Grapevine, Texas, and you all should listen to this on the podcast. Grapevine, Texas has been listed as the most Christmassy town in America, and it absolutely is. Okay? It looks like Christmas threw up. I mean, it is amazing. Okay? So when my daughter was little, I would take her to Grapevine, and every year they got the old theater, and all they do is play old Christmas movies at night. You go in, they give you hot cocoa. It's a very quaint. The movie theater's been there,
That's all,
10 Jonathans ago.
Is this North Texas? Where's this at?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Flower Mound, Grapevine.
Got it. Okay, that's what I thought.
But you have to think about bringing your boy to this place. It is like you are in the middle of Christmas Wonderland, the main street. So it always is listed as such. So every year, this is up to a few years ago before my daughter moved, we would go up there, stay at the Gaylord, or rent an Airbnb, and then go watch White Christmas or It's a Wonderful Life at the old theater.
Wow.
And that is very cool because
Really
she has
cool.
never seen that movie before. So.
It's like Bedford Falls on crack.
It is. Yeah. With a Texas, it's like Bedford Falls with a twang.
Merry Christmas, y'all.
My Chris, y'all. So we're going to talk about what you need to do to conquer these financial goals. But I keep giving Jonathan ideas where to take his boy
I appreciate
around
that.
Texas. So
We're looking at the Polar Express train, actually. They have one in North Texas as well.
Okay, but this is it. Grapevine has that train.
Really?
That's where it is.
Okay.
That's the depot, right? And it has, I went on this train. There's one for adults. We won't talk about it on the podcast. But wow.
Highlighted by Mrs. Claus, huh?
Let me tell you. It's
the
a
elves.
wine. It's a wine trip. It's like the alt Polar Express for adults.
Really?
It's great. All right. If you ever get a chance with your wife, and you'll enjoy that. You have to get that way in advance, though. Even for the Polar Express, that stuff sells out so quick.
Yep.
But I took my daughter a couple of times. He will love it. They make the whole experience just amazing.
We found out this year that how quickly it sells out. So
You did find
we're
out.
happy
Okay,
to
but
look at it
that's
next year.
Grapevine. The whole town is around that train. So
to
you're
know.
already there.
All right.
So what you want to do is, I always say, before you conquer the ghost, you got to know exactly what you're aiming for, right? You have to set these financial objectives. That's the foundation of any successful financial plan. Sarah and I did a podcast, and we talked about, the first of the year, you want to get your stuff in order. And one of those things you want to do, and I would start thinking about this in December, is what kind of new goals do I have for my financial plan?
Yeah.
Maybe something's changed. Like financial plans are supposed to be living and breathing. You're supposed to be able to change them. Java Joe goes, I wonder if they do finance stuff on this show. No. It's Christmas.
This is the Christmas edition,
And
Joe.
as Blair says, eventually we massage into it. That's some media term. We massage into it. All right?
It's pretty early just to dive into hard numbers. You gotta ease it in.
I mean, but the guys except for Blair, everybody's a stick in the mud.
Blair, you're still my favorite. Hi, Blair.
Me too, Blair. And Kathy. We love you both. The other ones, all I'm saying is, get to the money. What's all this crap about Grapevine? So, my gosh. You all on the chat don't drink enough spiked eggnog early in the morning. You got to think about it. So, identify these goals, write them down, make them specific and measurable, get them into your plan. Like, hey, I want to save $5,000 dollars for a trip to Italy. I don't know where you're going in Italy for that. Maybe Italy, Texas. Or I'm going to increase my contributions by 2%. Thanks, Joe Biden. Increase my retirement contributions by 2% this year. But if you can write it down, you'll most likely less fall into certain traps, right? So you don't have to keep getting visited by these financial ghosts. You can slay them, right?
Absolutely. And the end of the year makes a very good time for you to go back and audit the budget that you put into place at the beginning of last year. You know, we talk about this a lot when we're creating our financial plans. We forecast what those expenses are going to be, but then it's also equally as important to go back after the year and make sure that your forecasts at the beginning of the year were somewhat accurate or whether they require adjustment.
Right. That's right. And when you have a plan, it does keep you accountable, which is why I think some people don't want to do them. It's not because, well, first of all, they don't want to be told anything negative. And we try not to do that. We are trying to be positive. Okay, just the fact that you're doing a financial plan and feel that there are areas of weakness, that you should have a professional financial coach that's going to help you through it. No one is going to judge you or berate you or do anything. It's just trying to help you move to the next level.
That's right.
And that takes small steps, but those small steps are monumental in the scope of the steps you're taking to make the plan work. And if you do, one of the best ways to slay one of these ghosts is to create that plan, because it does help you make your money work for you. You can build your secure financial future. Every dollar you save or invest is a step closer to your long-term goals. So you have to do that. And you have to look at, since I'm a kid, I don't know, when I was a paper route, I was doing a paper route at 10 and a half or 11, whatever I was. I always kept a budget because, you know, like you said, when you had to go collect on a paper route in Brooklyn, I had the largest paper route in New York. Like my whole Friday afternoon to like 10 o'clock at night was trying to chase people down for $1.25 for the Daily News. Yeah, $2.
$2.
I was like, you know, and most people were there or they left the money outside with the tips. So there were only very few that I had to literally chase. And then I would say, I'm stopping your paper tomorrow. But this budget and a plan, and then, or if you already do a plan, assessing your goals would be good. Yep. So listen, I do this, and I know we're going to talk about math. So Java Joe, you'll be very happy. We're going from the real happy stuff to the real boring crap that you're here for. Math. Okay, I know. Difficult task. We tend to base our lifestyle on monthly payments, but we don't consider the damage to net worth by spending too much or taking on debt, because it's only $15 a month. It's only $30 a month. And, you know, this is where, you know, businesses are smart. They understand this, and we fall for it all the time. People don't care about the automobile for $80,000 and, you know, the interest rate and how long they're going to be paying. They're just like, what's the payment?
Yeah. How much can I afford this month? Yep.
And I'm not looking at the full number. So I look at a couple of calculations for my household. Listen, these rules are not easy. But in 10 Decembers from now, you'll come to my grave and you'll say, Rich, my net worth is higher. And I go, get off my grave, go home. Didn't I see you enough in the chat? I'm moving on. Okay. So first, and again, I'm just telling you this. This is something you can do. Okay. If I look at isolating my mortgage, my HOA, my homeowner's insurance payments, talk about a ghost, and divide that sum by the net or my take-home monthly income, I get a number. Okay? And I have to look at what percentage of my monthly budget that is the roof over my head, right? Some say, ideally, no more than 30% to avoid financial strain.
Standard rule, 30, right? 50, 20.
But you got to look at all these existing financial obligations, such as debt. So my ratio is 3.6.
Impressive.
Yeah, right. So the standard rule in finance is house payment shouldn't exceed 28% of pre-tax income. It's a horrible rule because what it's designed to do is help you push the boundaries on cash flow. And if you go to a realtor, and listen, I love realtors. I'm not saying anything wrong about realtors. Most of my friends are realtors. I think out of the 5,000 friends on Facebook, 4,800 are realtors. And I don't know how they make money. Okay? But if you tell a realtor how much you make and the type of house you want, they're like, what?
You could do better.
You could be in a $3 million home.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want a $3 million home.
Yeah.
So you got to understand, when you do these ratios, you can't be sort of persuaded nicely to take on more home than you need.
Well, it's not even just realtors now. If you use any of those online calculators, they're very common. You can do your affordability calculator. I love that they call it affordability, because what they give you is very not affordable for most people. But you use the affordability calculators online, and they use the same 30% metric. They'll tell you you can afford 30% of your pre-tax income as a mortgage payment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah.
I've never looked into who they're funded by, but I have some suspicions.
Oh. There's something insidious behind that whole thing, right? JP goes, it's like the sleep number bed. What's your number?
What's your number?
Except this isn't as comfortable.
As high as possible until my wife yells at me.
So Dave Ramsey suggests 25% of after-tax income. That's not bad, but you could do better. Now, don't be me, 3.6, because I'm a hoarder. I'm not, I don't look at a house as an investment. I absolutely look at it as an expense. Most houses are going to grow by the rate of inflation, if that, because you're not buying this beautiful house by the water. You're in a tract home. You all look the same. Your grandma is driving down that road for Christmas in the development. Oh, my God, every house is the same, and there are no numbers out. Those houses don't grow by 10, 11%. You got to have something unique.
Yeah.
Right? For the most part, we understand the whole housing market got messed up during COVID and all the other nefarious stuff that was done. And Wall Street's still buying homes, but that's another long story. But what I'm saying is your number shouldn't be 3.6 because you're not living your life. It shouldn't maybe be 25, but somewhere in there. You want to look at that first level of debt, that fixed debt that you have to pay compared to your net income.
Yeah.
And work with that number. It's not a difficult number to figure out. It's more of gathering all the information to get the number.
Yeah.
Because you're becoming aware of your household budget, don't you think?
I think so.
And your cash flows.
I think a good part of it also depends on, where you're at demographically. If you're in a major metropolitan area, then you may not be able to keep that number as low as you'd like. I mean, I know you
unless you're going to commute for I did
and live in, a part of town you may not want to walk outside in.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean,
and there are people sometimes who will do that.
Yeah, well, and just if you talk about averages, the average income in the Houston area is about $53,000 take home, right? Mm-hmm. So if you double that, well, let's assume a two-income household, $106,000. You're looking at a mortgage payment in the ballpark of, $1,350, right, roughly? And
what's tough today, not to deviate because I like where you're going, but years ago, even you'll remember this. Your homeowner's insurance was a portion of it, was a smaller adjunct. Now it's like another mortgage.
Massive. Yeah, it's massive.
Now it's another mortgage payment.
Yeah, when you factor in, if that's the average income in the Houston area, but the average house is about $340,000, well, that $1,350 mortgage is only going to get you about $220 to $240. So, I mean, there are some aspects of demographics that come into play here. But
there are.
If you can kind of work around those parameters, you can still find something that's reasonable and within your budget.
Maybe you start with a townhome. I mean, that's what I did.
I currently live in a townhome. My wife and I live in a modest 2-bedroom townhome. And it's right now is about $400,000. So
that's very reasonable
for the average individual, though. That's out of reach.
Yeah.
If you think if average income, I mean, they're definitely, if they can't afford $340,000, they certainly can't afford north of $400,000.
No, unless, and again, they have to save for the down payment.
Right.
But I have clients that can actually, younger clients that actually can do it and make the payment. It's when homeowners insurance, we ran this where the mortgage payment and taxes were going to be something like $1,610 or something.
Mm-hmm.
The actual homeowners insurance was $800 a month.
Wow.
On top of that.
Wow.
And I'm like, how the hell? So when President Trump talks about affordability, he's not talking about the right things. Okay? Food prices have moderated. One, we're not talking about bread was this price, now it's this price. They needed to go back to the other price. I think that he's putting together a group that's trying to understand current prices.
Mm-hmm.
But the insurance business is out of control. And I understand some of the reasons, but that has to be examined because there's a lot of distress in all auto insurance. If you work to try to bring those down, you would gain tremendous traction.
Well, that's the little known secret about the car insurance industry is switching carriers every couple of years actually will dramatically reduce your payments. I actually just recently switched from Progressive, not an endorsement, but
by
I
the
switched
way,
to
but
Geico.
since the insurance is so high, I know in homeowners insurance, if clients used to be, okay, I'm going to move to another carrier, it used to be dramatically less. It's not that way anymore because all the carriers are charging a lot more.
Yeah.
I shop it every year.
And how does it
Every
work for
year
you?
I shop it. Well, the trend has continued
To
upwards.
go up no matter what, right?
But I save each time.
You do on homeowners?
Yeah.
Oh,
and car. I bundle them.
okay.
That's the way to do it. But shop it every year.
It's like your Medicare plans.
Yeah.
Got to shop it.
But you're right. It's out of control. It's
It is.
ridiculous.
So our rule at RAA, our guardrail is your mortgage payment should not exceed 15% of your after-tax income. And I didn't extract this out of thin air, by the way. Over the last couple of decades, I've watched how households who utilize this rule continue to increase their wealth by thinking of a primary residence as a place to live, not an investment. And Lance will tell you the same thing. It's not an investment. So including your housing costs in your monthly budget helps to maintain that financial stability, ensures you don't extend yourself. And you have a mortgage obligation that's too painful for couples. A lot of other stuff falls by the wayside because you're house poor. And to your point, there's the dilemma.
Right.
There are townhomes around town that are around 300 and so forth. They're not in the sketchy areas, but they may not be in the right areas that you like, right? This is why we're also seeing a lot of help from parents as far as down payments.
Yep.
But so, yes, I absolutely agree that something needs to be done. But these are numbers that you need to calculate. Then you have to look at, so I got my fixed expenses. I know my ratio. I have to look at my variable and specific fixed expenses, entertainment, groceries, clothing, cost of utilities, car insurance. It's not cheap. My daughter's still in college. It's gone up every year, right? Review the cost of utilities, insurance, and you just said this, Brent. Review it every year. And general rule for us is 30% of after-tax income for wants. Auto insurance is obviously a need, not a want, but you want the ability to shop around, just as Brent said, for better rates or utilize insurance companies' drive pay programs. So I have one on mine that will rebate me back some hefty numbers if they can track my driving behavior, which is really tough out here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of those programs.
Yeah, I didn't think you were.
Yep.
Yeah. Your wife probably is, but you're not.
She actually uses one.
Yeah.
Yep.
See, I know her.
I swear. She couldn't believe how much you knew about her when you guys met this last week.
I mean, she innately has got this financial thing, and she's going to whip you into shape. Not the way you want.
She's done a heck of a job.
Yeah, not the way you want.
No.
But, yeah. So my current variable expenses are 8% of my monthly after-tax household income. I don't have a household with young kids where variable expenses are greater, right? We used to be able to calculate our personal inflation rate. The Atlanta Fed had this great calculator because think about inflation. When you hear this inflation, and President Trump tried to say it right, but I don't think he did. When he talks about affordability as a hoax, the hoax, the way we're looking at, oh my gosh, now you guys are talking about it. Everybody's household, everybody's definition of affordability is very different. My definition is going to be different than you, Jonathan. You have a newborn. Well, getting bigger every day. But we know what those expenses look like.
Yep.
Compared to a household that children are out of the house.
Yeah. Diapers are out of control.
Do you get the fancy ones?
Of course we do.
What do they call moon cloud, or like they
All
have these
organic,
like
yes.
high-end organic.
We need organic
won't
diapers.
chafe.
Yeah.
Listen, I was
Oh, man.
born. I'm still chafed from being a baby.
Menthol filtered.
Oh, yes.
I don't know what my parents used, but I think it was sandpaper. Oh my gosh.
They didn't still have the old-timey just piece of cloth
They did.
with a pin?
No, they did.
Yeah?
Yeah. Well, they used to have diaper services.
That's insane.
Let's talk a little bit about the past with Jonathan. Now, I was mostly in not these cloth diapers, but when I was little, they had. But this was a big thing in New York. You had diaper trucks.
I can
And
only
my father
imagine
had
the
to
smell.
drive. That's one of his first jobs was driving a dirty diaper truck and throwing those, collect them, wash them, bring them back to the household. Yeah. One day he got so pissed at my cousin. It was August, and he took him along for the ride. And my cousin still does. The guy's 70. He still doesn't know how to hold a job. So my father was absolutely right about him. So they're driving together, and he's supposed to be helping. And he's just sitting there doing nothing, like, reading the sports page or the comics. And my dad, in August in Brooklyn, threw him in the back with all the dirty diapers for the
And
ride
the
back
humidity,
to the...
swelter.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of the smells that have
based
come out
on
of
my
my son,
conversations
I
with
would
his
not want
cousin
those back.
lately, he should have been still back there. He didn't sit back there long enough. So, yeah. Yeah, in those days, we had those cloth diapers. So raising a child... there are studies how much that actually costs, and I'm going to tack on another 20% to that. Very tough. So your rate of inflation is going to be different than mine, okay? But it doesn't mean as a growing family you don't create rules, right, which will still allow for you to save. So at REA, variable monthly expenses shouldn't exceed 20% of after-tax income. And if you're disappointed by my ratio results, be grateful for the awareness that you should at least do these. You schedule a review with your financial professional in January. You create an action plan for improvement. That's just pretty much how it works. So you calculate your ratios every year, fixed variable expenses to income, figure out where they are in our guardrails, or if one looks out of whack from one year to the next, what's changed? Maybe is, to Brent's point, it's homeowners and auto insurance, and I know, listen, I got to shop this. It might spur, if you know your cash flow in your household, it might spur you to actually make the call or do the things you need to do to shop around, right? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, when you start to feel it in your wallet, that's when people start to take action.
Right. And you intuitively feel it. But intuitively doesn't mean it could be a lot better than you think. Because I've had someone do this when they went, oh my gosh, they're so stressed and all that. And the biggest expense they had, I said, you all didn't see this until you did the ratios, was saving money. So in other words, when they saved money, it was like that money, like even an emergency reserve, it was gone.
You reminded me of a client I used to have back when I was still in Los Angeles. He used to complain that his wife was going to save him into the poorhouse. They had conflicting views on budgeting and what was important.
Like my poor client that can't even get a steak once in a while, even though they can afford more steak. Listen, it's tough to spend money. It's tough for people who have been accumulated their whole life. And that's another topic for another day. How difficult it is emotionally to now harvest and pull that fruit off the tree that you've grown for so many years. It's very, especially for men, but it's tough.
It is.
It's tough. So next thing you want to do after your ratios is look at your emergency preparedness, right? Life has a way of throwing curveballs, car accident, unexpected medical bills, job loss. So you're building this emergency fund. That's one of the smartest moves you can make in the financial hierarchy of things. When people come to me, and I'm sure the same for you, Jonathan, the first thing we ask is, you want to save for retirement, you want to do Roth, that's great. Do you have a financial safety net? Do you have an emergency reserve?
Absolutely.
Right? Because we don't want to accumulate debt, and we don't want to dip into our retirement accounts. We know government loves leakage to your retirement accounts. They create all different ways. I have a headache. That means I could take my money out of my IRA without penalty now. They give you every reason to take money out because they get paid on their taxes, right?
That's right.
So having an emergency fund in place, you won't have to rely on credit cards or loans when life gets unpredictable. It also helps you avoid impulse purchases that can derail your plans. If you add this emergency preparedness, you're not just protecting yourself from unexpected bills. You're also building the confidence and peace of mind to say, I'm ready. I'm ready for whatever comes my way. And if something comes my way and I have to dip into that, I need to know my priority is to replenish. What do you think?
I think it's important that you consider that emergency fund kind of out of sight, out of mind. I think that oftentimes clients will establish that emergency fund, but then kind of use that as a piggy bank throughout the year. And then at the end of the year, we're reevaluating where they're at in their plan. And then you find out, oh, by the way, I've spent down my emergency fund. Now it's only down to a few $1,000s. We're going to need to replenish that next year. And so then obviously that requires further analysis, like how did we get to this situation and what can we do differently in the next year to ensure we don't repeat the same mistake?
And some people, what I find is they're over-saving in their retirement accounts. There's nothing wrong with that. It's commendable. What I'm saying is maybe you have to take it down a notch to, raise one level, lower another.
Mm-hmm.
That's another thing this financial awareness helps you to do. Because one of the ghosts we have out there is, one, we think we're too broke, or two, we put the money in the emergency reserve, and then we don't want to touch the emergency reserve. Like, that's what it's there for.
Yeah.
But I have clients that will put it away, and they don't want to touch it.
And they
like,
use their
even when
credit
an
card.
emergency comes up. And I'm like, okay, if you want to use your credit card, I'm okay with that. What kind of points you getting? What kind of cash back you getting?
Right.
So if you have to put something on a credit card and then pay it off in full, that's an arbitrage. You take that all day.
Absolutely.
Right? And that's what I think a lot of smart people do. They use the credit for their advantage, right?
Yeah, one, to your point, in the article you wrote, Rich, that those end-of-year summaries from your credit card company are incredibly valuable when you're looking to reevaluate how your spending tracked with your forecasts over the last year.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. Also, you want to, in the podcast we did with Sarah is talking about this, communicate money. Communicate about it, especially mistakes with loved ones, right? Downtime from work, around holiday time, family gatherers, there seems to allow communication to flow about money. Sarah thinks the opposite. No one wants to talk about money during the holidays. I'm a drag. And we'll wait till New Year's, because after New Year's and my hangover's gone, I'm realizing I'm in the beginning of a new year, and let's be miserable then. But I think there's a period during holidays that people feel like they can talk. What do you think?
I mean, I think that depends really upon your family and the culture within your family, because I know
we already know Sarah's, don't we?
Well, from personal experience, I know that, some families are more comfortable talking about money openly, and for some families, that's a taboo subject, to talk about your personal finances.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. So it really depends on, on what is commonplace in your family. And I absolutely agree with you. I think open communication is important. I think that teaching your kids about the value of money is important. My parents used to make me work for money, do chores for money if I wanted something. I think that was an invaluable lesson, and I hope to impart the same to my son, once he's old enough to hold a broom. But it's not the same in every household. So that's
so
there's
Mrs.
some
McCarty
tact there.
says if you go ahead and scrub the toilets, you're allowed to. I'll give you your allowance.
I wanted that new video game.
And
There's
you
a
got-
lawn that needs to be mowed. There's dog poop in the backyard to clean up. I mean, there was a list.
And to tie it into just not giving your children. But listen, communication is not just verbal, right? If you think about it, your children are monitoring your relationship with money,
Oh, they're absolute sponges.
right? Your outward expression toward debt and savings and general household financial management, especially when you're communicating with your spouse and so forth, your children are learning by observing. And if your relationship with money is negative or stressful, extravagant or reckless, the kids are going to pick up on that,
Yeah.
right? So smart money beliefs and actions lead to money smart kids. Now, I will tell you that sometimes kids learn to do the opposite. My father was the opposite. My grandparents were the Great Depression, and he felt always deprived, and then he went all the way the other way. And when I saw how my parents spent money, I went back the other way.
Yeah.
But I'm sort of more moderate. I try not to overdo it on the saving, because I had my grandparents' example and my parents' example, and they were so different, and I just took the road toward what they look at.
Kind of blended the two. Well, it's true. They say you learn where you live, right?
Yeah,
So
that's
that
right.
has an impact.
And listen, generally speaking, if you're a saver, your kids are too. There was a moneyconfidentkids.com survey done. Parents with 3 or more types of savings are more likely to have kids who discuss money with them, and less likely to have kids who spend money as soon as they get it or lie about their spending. So, and I found that parents, this is I've learned through my practice and clients I've worked with for more than 2 decades, the ones who communicate their financial failures or how they worked through them to raise responsible kids, that was very effective. The kids just don't want to know, oh, mom and dad, they're just so perfect. I freaking hate that. No, they have made money mistakes. They don't want to share them. But the most financially successful kids that I work with are because their parents did share their failures
Taught them
with
early.
and how they came out.
Yep.
What do you think of that?
I would agree. I mean, that's something that's crucial to the foundation of any child's relationship with money is understanding their parents' interaction and learning from the mistakes of their past and how they can avoid those pitfalls in their own life growing up.
So you talk to it's also talk to your children about, I did co-sign a loan once. I talked to them about my daughter. I co-signed the loan and this person decided that they were never going to pay, right? That's a lesson I learned. The responsibilities of risk with guaranteeing someone else's debt. That was a lesson I learned decades ago, helping somebody out. Discussing big ticket items, new cars, homes, these major purchases that impact the family's finances can help to bring the children in to understand why. And wow, that's a great new house. Here's how we afford this house. The importance of, careful financial decision making. You get the kids sort of involved with this. So go ahead.
I didn't realize how important that was, and you just reminded me of my roommate in college. We just graduated from college, and I needed a new vehicle, and went and got a new vehicle, and came home with it. And my roommate was just astounded. He just, well, how did you get this new car? Well, what do you mean? He's like, well, I didn't know you had enough money to go get a new car. He's like, well, I financed it. And I was like, how do you get a new car? And he looked at me dead in the eyes and said, well, I just call my dad and tell him I need a new car. And I just realized the disconnect that some children grow up with because they're not given that financial education. He was also very fortunate to come from a well-off family, but he had absolutely no concept.
Comes with we could do another 2 podcasts on.
Oh yeah,
mishaps of trust fund babies.
This is a 24-year-old man. I say my college roommate, like he's a child. We were graduated already. He's 24 years old and did not understand the concept of financing a purchase.
At 24.
Right. Scary.
So which means when he inherits this money, he's going to go through it pretty quickly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So kids want to know you're human. Okay? You had this behavior that was negative. You decided that you corrected it. This is how you did it. I'd hate to see you go through it, but maybe you're going to make the same mistake. And there'll always be one that sticks out. Me is co-signing on a loan, right? I did it actually twice to help people I cared about, and they both reneged on me, and I would never do it again.
Well, I think that's that's one thing I consider to be a good measure of how well I'm parenting my son. Is he going to make the same mistakes in life that I made? And if he did, then I missed the opportunity to help him avoid that.
Yeah, he's just going to make his own set of new ones.
Right. He's on his own for his own mistakes, but I don't want him to make any of the mistakes that I've made.
Also, give the gift of wisdom. And parents, older parents are challenged to communicate final intentions with their children, or they decide to let estate planning documents speak for them. That's a big mistake. You don't want to create the ghost of future turmoil for heirs, right? You don't remain so tight-lipped. How do you wish assets dispersed, family heirlooms, and whom you selected as the executor? But most important, why? Especially when you have 2 or 3 kids. This executor thing becomes a big problem.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Why is Bill your executor?
Yeah. And it can cause resentment, but also, and we've talked about it on the show in the past, parents don't always inherit all of their children equally. There's a big push of trying to find balance and equity, but not equality, right? If somebody needs more help, maybe these parents are going to give more to one child over another because one of their children is very successful and the other one has struggled throughout their life. And that's reasonable to expect. But if you don't communicate that, it can leave resentment after the fact. Right.
So here's an example. Alan is bitter. Why? And wondering why his brother Edward is the executor of the estate.
He's smarter than him.
These are not small things, though, because I've watched them generate irreparable family rifts.
Yeah.
I mean, so this is the month you communicate with your children. Ask questions about the items they'd wish they'd inherit. Do they want any of your items? Or are they going to be like mine? wind up in some antique store because my daughter doesn't want my G.I. Joe collection with the Kung Fu grip. That's fine. But I'm probably going to ask her, do you want any of this stuff? Because if you don't, I'll get, eventually I will get rid of it.
I just want the Cobras.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah. Take a moment, explain to siblings why, and your siblings, explain to your children why one sibling is selected as executor and the logic that drove the decision. Get them all in the room together. Use your financial advisor to do it. Okay. Instant gratification of financial decisions. Wow. Instant gratification has taken on a new level. I mean, I'm lying in bed. I'm scrolling through some videos, especially dog videos. I've got an issue with that. Got a problem. Someone help me. And I see an ad pop up. I did this last night. There was something. And I said, oh, that would be a really cute gift for Amy. And I literally bought it while I was in mid-scroll, and I continued. That's how fast.
Click a button.
That is. So I think we can fall into these impulse purchases easier than ever today.
I find it very interesting that the majority of our Amazon purchases are made between the hours of 11 p.m. and 12 p.m.
Yeah.
I can't figure out what it is.
There's something at night, like you want a midnight snack, and you want to buy a Cabbage Patch doll. Yeah. It's weird.
I've told my wife she has to stop scrolling social media.
Yeah, it killed me last night because I was fasting, and I walked through this beautiful pizza parlor in Brooklyn and doing that. I'm like, oh, my God, I'm so hungry. And then this product comes up, and I buy that. I'm like, oh, my gosh. This is already ruining me for the evening, right? If I had a pizza, I would have eaten it. So you got to prioritize your long-term goals over short-term desires. You create a realistic budget that takes into account all your expenses and the ratios, and you try to stick to it because, believe me, these bad decisions can last a long time, right? And you know where I'm seeing most inflation?
Where's
where
that?
a lot of people having distress? Christmas trees. Real Christmas trees.
Really? I can't tell you the last time I've had a real Christmas tree.
A friend I grew up with in Brooklyn, they sell them on street corners. Like, all of a sudden, you're in this urban blight, and then all of a sudden, you're in the middle of all these trees. And like,
fresh pine saw
sometimes you want to
smell.
hide out. It's not pine saw. It's a 7-foot tree, $200.
That's insane.
Right? $150
Highway robbery.
for a tree.
And you're going to throw it to the curb in January.
Yeah.
No, not for that money. I'm keeping that sucker up.
Planting
all
it
year.
in the backyard.
It'll be brown. It'll be great for Halloween. I'll spray paint it for Christmas. It's not going anywhere, man. But do the ratios. Look at what these financial goals are for you. Everybody's, just like inflation is different for everybody, so are these goals. And by the way, I have, before we conclude, written a new guide on having or conversation starters about your legacy during holiday time when you're all warm and fuzzy. Not Sarah, but you're all warm and fuzzy.
It's the eggnog.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the spiked eggnog. I'm the only person who buys spiked eggnog and then spike it again. I'm double spiking on the eggnog. Here's the deal. Here's what you want to do. You got a nice date night going? Okay. The eggnog comes with rum. Throw some Fireball in there.
Okay. A little cinnamon flavor.
That's the Rosso.
Just added some cinnamon on
I
top.
call
That's
it
all.
Rosso Razzle Dazzle. That's
right.
Grand Marnier. You take the rum, Grand Marnier, Fireball. By then it's smoking like in the Addams Family.
Yeah.
Like the dry smoke. You put some whipped cream on it, and actually you can hear the whipped cream scream as it's starting to melt into the. It's like, no.
Have to drink it within the first 5 minutes, or it dissolves the finish on your glass.
It's gone.
That good?
Yes.
Okay.
But man, after one of
convinced.
those, I dare you, if I ask you your name, you would go, I don't remember.
Santa Claus.
I'm going to use that. Amy, I'm Santa Claus after these.
Rosso Roofing.
So, the Rosso Razzle Dazzle. That's what it is. I'm planning to give Lance a few, though, see if he loosens up.
Okay.
He'll break that Razzle Dazzle.
We're going to see another stain on the carpet in the hallway.
Or he's going to use the Razzle Dazzle to try to take out the stain, the coffee stain in the hallway. Listen, thanks for being here in Financial Fitness. Thank you, Jonathan, as always, adding your wonderful expertise.
My pleasure.
And we will be back. Real investment advice. Download Lance's newsletter. We're not sleeping during the holiday. We're working. Bah humbug.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, everybody.